Welcome to the National Catholic College Admissions Association and Jesuit Excellence Tour Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. My name is Anna and I'll be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/NCCAA. And now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being with us here today. Our plan is to each introduce ourselves, and then we'll get into a presentation where we each introduce our schools and a feature of being in a smaller city for going to college. And each of us will take a different topic, but we may all have something to say about that particular topic. My name's Erin Hayes. I'm Director of Admission at Gonzaga University. And I'd love to have my fellow panelists introduce themselves, and then I'll introduce Gonzaga.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Green. I am Associate Director of Admissions at Holy Cross College in Notre Dame, Indiana. I have been in the admissions profession at a couple different places for about 5 years now, and really glad to be able to be in front of you and presenting. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, everyone. My name's Nellie. I am an admissions counselor at Briarcliffe University. I have been there for 4 years now. So basically just help the undergrad population with any admissions questions that they have at Briarcliffe University. And thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody. My name is Georgia Drews. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions at Newman University in Wichita, Kansas. I'm an alumna of Newman University a couple of times over, and I've worked in the admissions office here for about 8 years. Thanks for being here.
Okay, so I'll start us off and just tell you a little bit about Gonzaga University and our location. You'll find throughout this presentation, we don't have a really hard and fast definition or rule behind what makes a smaller metropolitan area. But none of us are like in the major metropolitan cities in the United States, like a New York City or a Los Angeles. So we'll have varied sizes that we will share with you. Gonzaga University is located in Spokane, Washington. We are across the river from downtown Spokane. We're the second largest city in the state, but we're on the eastern side of the state. And Seattle's our largest city in the state. It's on the western side, and we're the largest in a 300-mile radius. So a really important hub for the whole inland Northwest. Our metropolitan area is very spread out, and it's over 700,000 people. In the city center, it's more like around 350,000. And the Gonzaga undergraduate population is about 5,000 students. And we are a bit of a destination school. 82% of our students come from over 200 miles away, and Spokane is a new home for them. And the feature that I wanted to touch on, and we're all going to take some different ideas, but what I wanted to touch on was the opportunities for internships and work when you do attend a school in a medium or a smaller size city. I grew up in Los Angeles, and I went to school in the Bay Area. So I have that experience of being in larger cities where there are a great number of colleges and universities, and it just really drives up the competition for any sort of opportunity to build a resume. And what I've really appreciated about being in a smaller city is that all the city things are there that one needs. It's just, maybe a little bit smaller than a larger city. And that just provides a lot of opportunity for getting into the city for quality internships and work experiences. And for us, with 5,000 undergraduates and being the largest school in the city, and a city that really needs college students to help out with internships and students wanting to have some work experiences to help them build a resume, it's a really great pairing and partnership. So over 60% of our students have an internship at some point in their 4 years as a result, but everything that we teach has some sort of action component to it. And like nursing students are in clinical placement. So it's not called an internship, but they're getting experiential learning. Education students are in the classroom all 4 years. And they're not students, I mean, these are students who don't have to compete with thousands and thousands of other college students to have these really quality experiences. So what happens is they build a really impressive resume of high quality experience, really good hands-on work, and then they can take that resume and apply to jobs that are maybe in larger cities or apply to graduate programs. And they can really speak to having some high quality experience and being able to make some decisions and really doing some creative problem solving in these areas and fields that will eventually be their careers. And I'd love to see if any of my colleagues here in the presentation would like to share a little tidbit about their area and how internship and work opportunities are available.
Yeah, I think Aaron hit a lot of the nail on the head for a lot of it. At least just one thing to highlight from Holy Cross College, we're pretty small, and I'll get into that when I go over what we offer a little bit and where we are. But we have all of our students, every single one does a professional internship of some kind. So that could be in the area where we are, it could be on campus, or it could be maybe where the students are from. But we give them a strong opportunity to have that be an opportunity for them. And I really love that Aaron mentioned that there's less competition for internships. It might not be, get to the big high rises and the bigger companies in these big cities, but you might get some valuable work experience because not every company is going to be a huge company, and you might end up working for a small, maybe family-owned business or something along those lines. So giving you that is diversifying your experience in any career field.
Yes, and at Briarcliff too, I kind of want to touch up on a little bit on us too, is we consider ourselves a little fish in a big pond, is what we like to say that we are, because we're a smaller university, but we're located in kind of this area where we also call ourselves the tri-state area. So literally in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, you can be in South Dakota. And then if you head the other direction, you'd be in Nebraska. So with that, we kind of have a little bit of everything in this area. So also at Briarcliff, we have our career development office, just like any other university. We do offer that on campus for our students. So we have changed it up a little bit. We now have an app that our students can download directly on their phone. They can see what internships are available around Sioux City, what jobs are available on campus, even kind of just look at those. Also, with being a smaller university, the biggest advantage is your advisor, being able to talk to them one-on-one. So if they know, for example, I graduated from Briarcliff, so it was really nice that my advisor, when an internship opportunity would come up, she would email me and say, hey, Nellie, check out this internship opportunity. You might be interested, you qualify for it, whatever the case may be. So just being able to build those relationships while you're in college is obviously very important as well.
So I'm in Wichita. Wichita is known as the air capital of the world. We have a ton of aircraft industry businesses. So people that are building parts, people that are putting the aircraft together. We even have government people here that work to maintain contracts for the government. We used to have Boeing. Our big ones now are Textron and Cessna and Spirit. So we have a lot of students go and do internships there. And it's not just for things like aviation and engineering. They need accountants. They need people to do data analytics. They need people to do HR. They need people to do marketing and communication. So those are some really good places for students to do those. We're also the home of Koch Industries and the Koch brothers, if you've ever heard of them. So we do send a lot of students there to do a variety of different internships. So I think every city kind of has its own little niche market that students can do internships in, especially if your city is known for any one particular thing.
Okay, great. I guess I'm up here. So Hi again, everybody. My name is Matt Green, Associate Director of Admissions at Holy Cross College. At Holy Cross College, we are located, technically our town is Notre Dame, Indiana, because we are right across the street from the University of Notre Dame. So we are in Indiana. We're about 90 miles east of Chicago, and then we're about 150 miles north, directly north of our biggest city in our state, which is Indianapolis. So South Bend, though, is the actual city where we are, not just outside of Notre Dame and Holy Cross, and then St. Mary's College, the all-women's college next door to us. We consider ourselves a tri-campus community, but we are right next door to South Bend, Indiana, which is a town of a little bit over 100,000 people. We are about 5 miles south of the Michigan-Indiana border. So the area has kind of been dubbed, it's called Michiana. So if you include a couple of the surrounding towns in Indiana, as well as some of the towns in north or southwest Michigan, we're about 350 to 400,000 people in the local area. So like I said, we're the 4th largest city in Indiana, and right across the street from Notre Dame. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was service and civic engagement in a smaller metro area. So there could be service as well, service hours if you are doing that, maybe for your school, or just want to get involved maybe in local municipalities or local governments. There's a great need for that. This can kind of tie into the internships and that need for there. But smaller town and metro area governments are usually more willing to work with different students to have them work for the government, to serve, to lead, and to volunteer for these groups, because a lot of times, a lot of the economy, a lot of the driving forces for what goes on in a town is drawn out from our colleges. There's the students will live there, whether on campus or outside of campus. So our current students will be the ones that are going to look to work for these municipalities, especially if you might have humanities majors or students looking at political science. That's definitely an option to work kind of for the city or for the town. Also, we are all faith-based. We are all Catholic institutions. Usually faith-based groups, whether they might be homeless shelters or there might be something along those lines that really do serve the underrepresented populations in our towns. These faith-based groups are really eager to have other students from our colleges, from our institutions, to serve the groups that they want to help and represent. And then again, as I mentioned, internships and job opportunities are usually connected, like I had mentioned for Aaron's slide, more personal connections and a little bit more networking. People might know your name. It might even work more for kind of like a mom and pop shop even then. But really, civic engagement is something that is pretty paramount, and it's not tough to get into access. A lot of these smaller towns are going to want eager young students, young people to kind of take the next step in helping move these groups, these political associations, or the towns moving forward. If anybody else has anything to add, please do.
I would just add, yes, like Matt said, we're all faith-based, well, Catholic schools. We're a Jesuit school, and social justice and service really important. And Gonzaga students are the #1 service provider in Spokane. So having a smaller city, we can really invest and concentrate our efforts in certain areas. And we've just recently developed Opportunity Northeast, which is taking a particular zone within our city that is most vulnerable and of need, and focusing our attention there with kind of wraparound support services. And students will be able to really invest in the community and kind of develop their engagement over the course of 4 years, rather than doing a variety of things.
Yes, a little bit on Briarcliff is we're Catholic Franciscan, so we do require our students to take their Franciscan values class right away your freshman year. Basically just to learn about the Franciscan values. We want you to have those in mind during the 4 years that you are at Briarcliff. There's 4 of them, so we actually do concentrate on one value every single year. So by the time you graduate, you will have lived every single one of those values. Also, we tell our students when they come onto campus that we do require you to do volunteering hours. And I know when we say that, you guys want to roll your eyes, but a lot of the times when you take that class, it really opens your eyes a little bit. And it ends up being a really fun experience. And a lot of students end up wanting to go back to volunteer at the organizations that they did. So it's a really nice experience. You know, a lot of students, like I said, really enjoy it once they get done with it. And our first year advisors make sure to make it fun for you guys as well. That way you guys do go back and do it. Also, a lot of our students at Briarcliff are athletes. So a lot of the times you will go out with your athletic team and volunteer somewhere in Sioux City as well. So it kind of makes it a little bit more fun that way too, being able to volunteer with your teammates just kind of makes it a little bit more fun. So we try our best to make it fun for you guys.
We don't require students to do community service hours, but it's a big part of the mission of the sisters who founded our university. It's a huge part of our mission. We want students to think globally. We want them to go out and transform society. It's a part of our mission statement. So we do about 250,000 plus hours of community service each year between our faculty, staff, and our students. I know I, as a staff member, do about 4 hours a month that are incorporated into my schedule, just working at the university. And I really like that because when I was at the university, I was on a scholarship called the ASC Community Leader Scholarship named after our sisters. Still exists to this day. We typically have 1 to 2 cohorts of students that go through that program. They do a leadership class once a year and they do 45 hours of community service each semester, which, you know, if you're not somebody who does a lot of that, 45 hours a semester sounds like a lot. It's really not. It's 2 to 3 hours a week. But I love that the sisters are really out in the community. They're involved with a lot of our nonprofit organizations. They're really, really big into education. And so our students typically go out into the community in a lot of places, but the sisters really provide us an outlet to go and do community service at a lot of their initiative organizations.
All right, I'm up. So again, guys, I'm Nellie from Briarcliff University, located in Sioux City, Iowa, and we're Catholic Franciscan. Okay, there you go. So yep, Sioux City is the 4th largest city in Iowa with about 83,000 people. So just to kind of give you guys an idea there for size of a city. With the surrounding like little towns that are around us, they all tend to come to Sioux City to get groceries and do like average things. We have about 100,000 people with like the surrounding little towns as well. Briarcliff was founded by the Sisters of St. Francis of Dubuque in 1929. And then just to kind of give you guys an idea for enrollment, for undergrad, we have about 1,000 students. So just to kind of give you guys an idea, we're pretty diverse with how small we are. So we do have students from 40 different states and we have 23 different countries represented at Briarcliff as well. So really diverse for how small we are. And my topic is on affordability and the cost of living. So affordability is obviously being able to, purchase what you need in order to survive, and then obviously being able to enjoy some of that as well. So how can you make college affordable? Obviously, there's a lot of variables that come into that. You want to look at in-state versus out-of-state. At Briarcliff, we have what we call a sticker price. So it's the same for our students regardless of where they're from. So we kind of, that's kind of a big advantage for our students, obviously out of state. Although the majority of our population is from Iowa. Obviously your FAFSA, if you haven't done that, you can do that now, just an FYI, keeping that in the back of your head. So you guys can start doing that FAFSA. That's really important to make sure you, and see if you qualify for any grants. That word grant means free money. So make sure you accept any of those grants that you can get through the FAFSA, because that will definitely help out with making it affordable for you. Textbooks. you can rent those through Amazon. Is probably going to be the cheapest for you guys. So just kind of keep that in mind when you are looking at that. I always used to, when I was at Briarcliff, I would kind of make friends with the upperclassmen and be like, hey guys, if you don't want to return your textbooks, I will buy them from you at a cheaper price. So just kind of keep that in mind. Work study, I know that we kind of touched a little bit on the internship part, but work study is also another opportunity that you have for working. And that is a question on your FAFSA. So if you check yes or no, take that into consideration. So work study, if you wanted to work on campus, it's really beneficial for our students at Briarcliff. I did it when I was there and I worked for our business department. I was a business student, so I would go into their office if I had an hour in between classes, 2 hours, whatever the case may be, and just grade papers for them, type out their notes for them, pretty easy. We have work studies in our admissions department, so it's pretty much easy money, I guess, and it really does stack up over the 2 weeks. And it just kind of helps out with toiletries and things like that. So if you can do work study, definitely recommend you to. And then most importantly is going to be scholarships. Whatever scholarships that you guys can apply for, definitely do. Briarcliff does accept any outside private scholarships, so make sure you guys are looking into those. Your counselor is going to be a really good resource for that. So if you can ask your high school counselor if they have a list of scholarships available, they're probably a good place to start. Also, believe it or not, your parents' jobs might sometimes have some scholarships that you can apply for. I know I got one through my mom's employer. So have your parents reach out and see if there are any scholarships available through their employers as well. So those are just kind of some tips on what you can do to kind of help lower that cost for college. And then the cost of living, I included what we have here in Iowa. So it's 83.7. And then just to kind of give you guys an idea, the average house costs $161,700. I know that sounds really scary for you guys as college or high school students, but that's actually pretty cheap for a house. So obviously that's what you want to look at when you are looking at where you want to go for college, because you're going to be living there for 4 years. You want to make sure that you can afford it. Obviously, that's one of the biggest things as well. So I will leave it open to you guys and see if you guys want to add anything to that as well.
I think we're all waiting to see who wants to go first. I'll just jump in. Nellie, that's super helpful. We are a less expensive city in the West. We're not coastal. The coastal cities tend to be more expensive. I'm seeing not as inexpensive as Sioux City though, as I look at the slide, but we really can be more affordable. And I always tell students, your college budget goes so far in Spokane, Washington. Like it trickles down to everything, like being able to eat out at a restaurant, going to the theater, going skiing, like everything is just at a lower cost. And so that college budget can go far as being able to do things beyond just classes and being on campus and doing things with your friends. And our minimum wage is really high though throughout the state. It's moving its way up to $15. And on our side of the state, that really does make a difference. On January 1st, it moves to 14 something, but right now it's $13.69.
Yeah, I would like to echo what Aaron said about when you go, and like I said, we're in a town of 100,000 people. We also are small. We're 500 students, but we have an 8,000 student undergrad population at Notre Dame right across the street. So there have been many ways for students to get incorporated into kind of the college town that has become around South Bend and around Notre Dame and the other two campuses. But it is important, especially if you're looking at a smaller town like all of us have. It's important to take those breaks, and you can go out to eat, go see maybe a smaller time concert or a show at a theater, and it's going to be cheaper than it is in a bigger city. So kind of those experiences you see of college kids being able to have some good fun, you can use that to your advantage. Also, I'm glad for what Nellie mentioned about scholarships and all that with work study. We offer, and I'm sure many schools and the four of us, we at least offer need-based financial aid as well as merit scholarships that are pretty prominent. So looking at how those can go, and maybe, you're not spending as much on tuition, on room and board, but maybe you're saving some of that money and using, again, some of it to have a little bit of fun when you're not in class.
You got to have some spending money for fun. I mean, it's one thing to know how much school costs and what you need to pay, and like how much scholarships and financial aid pay, but it's also another thing to think about, like all the things you do off campus and how you're going to fund that, and how much bang are you going to get for your buck. Interestingly enough, I work with international students, and one of the things we make them prove before they can even interview for a student visa is, do you have the funds to cover school? And that includes an estimation of personal and miscellaneous expenses for the year. We don't want them to be high and dry. We want you to be in a city where you can fund things that you need. And like Nellie said, I mean, if you need toothpaste, if you need toiletries, if you need jeans, if you need a notebook for school, you need to be able to get those things. So take a look at that. Cost of living can be a little difficult to understand, but looking at things like that percentage and the housing costs can be a good starting point. And a lot of schools may require that you live on campus for the first year or two, and scholarships and financial aid may be able to help cover that. But if you're ever considering living off campus at any point, maybe start comparing what the cost of a 1 or a 2-bedroom apartment is, what utilities look like. Those are all things that you can look up for a particular city or a region that can really help you plan ahead for college. And I think I'm next. So again, my name is Georgia. My info's down there in the bottom right corner. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions at Newman University. Newman is in Wichita, Kansas, and I tried to pick out a good campus photo that would show you our campus aerial shot, but also right up here, you can see downtown Wichita, super close to downtown. I love the downtown area. I love window shopping. I love watching people try to navigate one-way streets. But this just tells you a little bit about who we are. We're definitely a Catholic university. We're named after St. John Henry Newman. Shout out to him. He just became canonized a saint in the Catholic Church 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago to the day. But if you've ever heard of Newman centers on college campuses, that's who they're named after. I like to say our whole campus is a Newman Center. We were founded by the Adorers of the Blood of Christ, so a Catholic group of sisters, originally from Italy, really passionate about education, and founded our university back in 1933. Strong group of women to found a university in the middle of the Great Depression, but somehow they did it. And we're all about empowering grads to go out and transform society. This society down here, all that. We are located in Wichita. We're smack dab in the middle of the United States. We're known as the air capital of the world. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of aircraft industries. It really boosts our economy. It's a top 10 place to live in the US. Cost of living is fantastic. And we are the largest city in Kansas. I will say a lot of people are like, what about Kansas City? There's a KCK and a KCMO. KCK, we're bigger than them. 600,000 plus members in the metro area. And we're a pretty small school. We only have about 1,200 undergraduate students attending our campus in Wichita. Our freshman class this year was 150. Interestingly enough, we also get about as many transfers as we do first-time freshmen each fall. We are NCAA Division II, and we're probably most known for the sciences, sending people to med school and other professional programs, as well as healthcare programs like nursing and sonography, but we're a liberal arts school. There's a lot of things you could potentially study here. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what it's like to get around, what there is to do, and the ease of just accessing the city that you're in. This is a little closer up shot of downtown Wichita, Kansas. That big round building is Century 2. So I personally enjoy going to Music Theater of Wichita, orchestra performances. There's a lot of conferences. I'm an adult now, so I love going to the home living show. But there's a lot of things to do in Wichita. We boast quite a few places that you can go out and enjoy the outdoors, lots of parks and greenways. Something that's become incredibly popular in the last decade or so has been outdoor murals, and every year they have a competition where they have people going out and just painting open sides of buildings all over town. Yes, they have permission. But they're a really great place to go take some little mini photo shoots with your friends. We're going to get family photos done next month. There's a lot of really cool murals around town, including a lot of our city flag. You can see the background behind me on Zoom right now. We've kind of adopted the city flag and put our logo in the middle of it. I don't know of any other city flags that are super duper popular, but we love ours for some reason. There's a ton of museums and galleries here. We participate in First Friday here in Wichita. So you can go to all of the art galleries, take the trolley system for free. And every first Friday of the month, every art gallery in the city opens a brand new exhibit for the month. So that's usually a time when you can go and meet the artists. They're in the gallery, have some drinks and hors d'oeuvres like a fancy adult, and just travel around and see all the different art galleries. We also have a baseball team. They just finished their first season with us. Brand new baseball team, brand new stadium down by the riverfront. Our team is associated with the Minnesota Twins. They had a really great season. We had a fun time visiting the new stadium several times this year. We also have a minor league hockey team that competes in our Interest Bank Arena downtown. We also get in that arena lots of fun concerts. So as an emo kid at heart, I really enjoyed Fall Out Boy, but also Foo Fighters, and we have a lot of country concerts, although I don't really go to those. But you can also see the Harlem Globetrotters and go to a monster truck rally. And I believe we're hosting part of the NCAA Women's National Championships this year. We do have a bus route that runs through campus, and I will say it kind of varies based on the size of your town, what the public transportation looks like. So we have a bus route that goes through all of Kansas or all of Wichita. We have a free trolley system that runs just downtown in the Old Town areas in the business district. But that could vary. You might be in a little bit bigger city that has a bigger trolley system, or maybe a subway, or a little bit more usage of taxis and cabs. We also have kind of I really love our airport. We redid it a few years ago. It's only got 6 gates, but as someone who never shows up to anything on time, you can literally get to our airport 45 minutes before your flight, get straight through ticketing. You're maybe in the security line 5 minutes, and then you're into your flight. So no situation where you have to be at the airport like 4 hours in advance just to make sure you get through everything on time. Really easy parking, really easy to drop people off. I love flying in and out of Wichita, and I feel like it's super comparable in cost to a lot of the larger airports that some people drive to. I'm not all about that. And if you're a biker, you can get around Wichita pretty easily on your bike. We have bike-friendly lanes and lots of paths in Wichita that you could potentially use. You can probably get from the far west side of Wichita all the way to the far east side of Wichita in 20 to 30 minutes tops. There's not a lot of, super congestion. Maybe at 5 o'clock, everybody wants to get home, but it's a nice place to live. How do you guys feel about your cities? What's getting around and traveling like there? Maybe Erin can go first.
I was pausing. I feel like I always go first. So I didn't want to just take over. Sure, I'll go first. So Gonzaga University, located in Spokane, Washington, on the eastern side of the state. And we're a 15-minute walk from downtown Spokane, but you can take a Lime scooter and get there in 3 minutes. And it's a beautiful ride or walk along the river. But we're in an area with amazing outdoor recreation. So while the city is really close, adjacent to the city is a state park. So within minutes of campus, you could go to a movie and out to a restaurant with friends. And maybe before that, you're on a hike or a mountain bike trip. Mountain bike trip, that doesn't sound right, but you went mountain biking, rock climbing, kayaking, rafting. There's 5 ski resorts within 2 hours, 33 golf courses, 76 lakes in our region. So it is an area where you can really enjoy the outdoor space while also having a city, and all of it is super accessible. And in our city, it sounds kind of similar to Wichita in some ways, with we have minor league baseball and junior league hockey, and we have arena football. So they're sports that are professional, but on a lower level. So they're really accessible. Everything is with a smaller city is accessible. There isn't a lot of traffic. You're not in line all the time waiting for things. If a concert comes through town, you're going to get a ticket. It's not going to sell out in 30 seconds like in a major city. And we have an arena with concerts that come through, and we also will be an NC2A site for the basketball tournament, Go Zags. And our airport also is super easy, and it's like a 15-minute drive from campus. You get there an hour ahead of time, you're fine. So lots of similarities, and it's just so nice. I feel like after living in some high traffic, high density cities, I have the gift of time living in Spokane because I'm not always in traffic or waiting in line. I'm actually doing things with my time that I enjoy. So that's really nice. I'll pass it to Matt.
Yeah, thank you. I am gonna put this in the chat, but I didn't realize how similar South Bend and Wichita are. South Bend also has a city flag that incorporates the St. Joseph River. We are named because we are the southernmost bend of the St. Joseph River. So that is why we are our town name. Also, I've been to the Wichita airport. It's very nice. I would say South Bend Airport is similar, like nine gates, very easy to access. And we actually get flights to pretty decent hubs across the country. So Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, Las Vegas. We have a flight to Phoenix as well, and a couple to Florida. We are also have incorporated scooters. We just got those bird scooters in South Bend. So I would just like to echo that there are a lot of ways to get around. I think even in smaller towns, they've incorporated things like Uber and Lyft. Scooters have been an option. Even if we might not have maybe subway systems or mass public transit, there's usually a bus system or some way to be able to get around. But a lot of what Georgia mentioned is something that we have. And I think one last thing I will mention too is that when you get into smaller towns, there's better ways to find maybe like nice public or even state parks that are great places to be outside when the weather's nice. So just getting involved in that, I think is great. Also, it also helps us too, even though we're small, we have a big university right next door. So we get the shows, the conferences, a lot of the things that are offered there. It's been canceled now, or it's been postponed now twice because of COVID, but we should be getting Billy Joel in Notre Dame Stadium next year. Hopefully they reschedule Chris Stapleton, which is supposed to come too. So yeah, big shows, but even that we get kind of like Broadway and then one removed from there too in our town of 100,000 people.
Awesome. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like Sioux City is like smaller than you guys now. Our biggest like transportation that goes through Briarcliff is going to be the city bus. So that is how some students will kind of get around. Otherwise, usually people will use, like Matt said, either Uber or Lyft is really popular around this area. So I feel like that's kind of what students use the most. We do have a very, very small airport. I'm not joking. I think it has like 2 gates. So that's like really, really small. And we have flights that will go like, let's see, I think it's to, it's Colorado, and then we have the one that goes to Dallas Fort Worth. So they're kind of like connecting flights. So hopefully we'll get up there and we'll add some more destinations to our airport. But we kind of where we're located to is pretty convenient because Sioux Falls, South Dakota is about an hour and some away. So there is a little bit of a bigger airport there. And then we're about an hour and a half away from Omaha, Nebraska. And they have the international airport there. So that's kind of like the biggest one around our area. So it's not too far to get to an airport if you have to. I did want to touch up a little bit too, that just to kind of give you some sense of security, our international students that we have on campus have absolutely no issue getting anywhere that they need to go. So if our international students can do it, you guys can do it. So a lot of the times your roommate will have a car that they can give you give you rides to places. Someone on your floor, someone on your team will have a car. So I would say getting around Sioux City is definitely not an issue at all. I have never been stuck in traffic. I think getting stuck in traffic for us is like 2 minutes at a red light. So at like 5 o'clock. So not anything too bad. So I was born and raised in Sioux City, Iowa. I have absolutely no complaints about it. I love it. There's plenty to do. Enough to where our students don't have to stay on campus in order to have fun. They can go off campus as well, which is kind of nice. So, yeah.
Ellie, do you have scooters?
We don't.
That's probably for my sister works in the ER, so many scooter injuries. So whatever you do, read the directions and follow the rules.
I might have to make a few phone calls to see if we can get scooters.
Yeah. And I will say, I love that you all have a really accessible airport. I think that's a really fun thing because I've definitely seen the other side of that, like bigger city airports, frustrating, but
Yep.
and you know, just because you're flying out of a smaller airport or a regional airport doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be like walking across the tarmac to board some puddle jumper with one row of seats on each side. Like we have Southwest, it's okay. Like you're gonna be going down the ramp with everybody else.
Exactly.
What are your guys's? I know we talked about concerts a little bit. What's a concert you've been to in your area lately that you really enjoyed? I went to AJR. AJR came back, super positive, fun concert. Probably one of the most visually appealing things I've ever seen in my life. And it was kind of fun because we were there with everybody from toddlers all the way up to grandmas and grandpas. AJR has a very diverse fan base, apparently.
Yeah, in our downtown area, we have Hard Rock Casino, which I think is who brings pretty much all of our concerts now. So I remembered it was Kesha who came, I believe it was a while back ago. And that place was, downtown was a little crazy, but it was still fun. Not too long ago, we had Nelly come. I didn't go to it. I probably should have, since we have the same name. And then who else have we had? I'm trying to think. Oh, high school students will know Post Malone. He was here not too long ago either. So those are just some top ones that we've had recently.
Yeah, like I had mentioned before, some of the names we had, it helps when we have an 80,000 seat stadium right across the street. I was able to go a few years ago. Garth Brooks kicked off his stadium tour. Obviously, haven't been to any concerts in a couple of years, but that we do get a few. And also, too, we have the just for kind of smaller time as well. We at our Morris Performing Arts Center, which is more of the theater on campus. I've been in the past too. If anybody is into holiday music and instrumental and knows Mannheim Steamroller, they've come in to South Bend as well.
Garth Brooks, I think, played 8 shows in Spokane. It was insane. I did not.
That would have been amazing. It was a great time.
Some of our recent concerts, we've been able to do an outdoor concert series this past summer because of COVID, trying to be more COVID safe in our events and things. Death Cab for Cutie was just here, and then Counting Crows. It was like a variety of some older bands, and we have this new pavilion. Our downtown city center park was just renovated, and it looks beautiful, and they renovated the pavilion, and now that's going to be our new concert scene for summer months for outdoor concerts. But I think we're getting close to time, aren't we?
Yeah, we have a couple of minutes left. Does everybody want to just briefly say maybe your favorite thing about the place where your college is located and where you live? I'll start. Mine is kind of a niche thing, but I am a bowler. I bowled for Newman University on scholarship. It's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to come to Newman, but I've lived in Wichita my whole life. And I really appreciate the bowling community here. We have 5 larger bowling centers. a wonderful bowling organization, and actually 2 to 3 college bowling teams like in the area. So when you go to your leagues in the evenings, you have a lot of those collegiate players bowling. So it's kind of one of those, it's how I met my husband. It's how I got scholarships to go to college. And I really like that about Wichita. Bowling paradise.
I in South Bend, there's actually, it's kind of hidden gems, but there's actually a fair number of ethnic food choices that people can get. We just have a lot of different communities that have settled in South Bend. It's actually really cool to be able to go and get different cuisine. So I love that. Even, you kind of get that sense of the big city, you get a ton of different cuisines, but we have that all in a 100,000 person city.
Yeah, I think for me, we're obviously located in the Midwest. So we do get all 4 seasons. So right now our leaves are falling off the trees. And here, probably at the end of the month or next month, we will be getting snow. Just a quick fun fact about Briarcliff is that we actually do have underground tunnels that lead throughout campus. So our students actually go to class in flip-flops and shorts and short sleeves in December, which is pretty cool. So I have to say I enjoy the 4 seasons. Students that usually come from California, Florida are a little taken back when the first snow comes, but that's kind of the best part of it, is being able to see their reaction to the snow.
And I'll be real quick. I know Anna popped on, but I just love having a cool city with awesome restaurants and shopping and things, but amazing outdoor recreation all around us. We're close to the Rocky Mountains. And so to have some really phenomenal like skiing and rafting and hiking, just beautiful vista points and stuff, that makes me happy. I need that balance in my life.
Well, great. Thank you all so much for sharing, and thank you everyone for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. And we encourage you to check back at the schedule and sign up for more sessions. And you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recordings at strivescan.com/NCCAA. So thanks again, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye.